at JoJo's PersonaliTV is to provide opportunities for youth and their parents to explore careers and set achievable goals. Hello everyone, welcome to JoJo's PersonaliTV. I'm your host Jasiya, and today I am so super happy to be introducing Ambassador Harry Thomas. He is the ambassador to Zimbabwe. Hi!
Hi, Jasiya. Masquera say
What does that mean?
means good evening.
And what language is that in?
In Shona, which is the main language of Zimbabwe, where I live in Southern Africa.
I noticed you said main language. How many languages are there?
Well, there are many, but the two main languages are Shona, spoken by about 80% of the population, and Ndebele, spoken by about 15% of the population.
So do you know both of those fluently?
No, I only know a few greetings in them, but I do speak Spanish fluently, Hindi and Bengali fluently. I speak a little bit of Tagalog, the language of the Philippines. As a diplomat, we are sent to the Foreign Service Institute in Arlington for anywhere from 6 months to a year to study languages.
Wow. So what is it like being a U.S. ambassador? And what do you do?
Well, thank you. It is an honor to represent the United States of America and the American people as your representative to Zimbabwe. We do many things here. We fight HIV/AIDS. We combat TB, malaria. We also combat trafficking in persons, a modern day form of slavery. As you know, this month is Cancer Awareness Month, and we try to support that. Last week, we had the International Day of the Girl. We supported that. Your government feeds 2.4 million Zimbabweans each day to help keep them from starving, the after effects of a drought. On top of that, we're building a brand new $200 million embassy. We have U.S. Marines here, U.S. Army, we have USAID that feeds people. We have the President's Emergency Program for AIDS relief. We have the Center for Disease Control from nearby Atlanta that does TB, malaria, also HIV/AIDS. We have a political economic section of analysis. We have a lot of people working on behalf of the American people here.
Wow. Well, that's good to know. I know my people are helping Zimbabweans. I don't know if that's what they're called, but
it is. And we want to thank all the Americans for what you're doing. And we want to make sure we're using tax money effectively to help the people here.
You're welcome. Can you describe a typical day for our viewers, a typical day at work for you?
Yesterday, a typical day, I met with our country team, which are our senior managers, to go over weekly events and planning for the future and thank people for work they did. We welcomed some people and said farewell to others. Then I met with the U.S. Agency for International Development director to review programs, particularly in terms of democracy and governance, because elections are coming up here next year. Then I met with our director from Center for Disease Control out of Atlanta to talk about malaria, tuberculosis, and a visitor from Washington, who's the number 2 person in our President's Emergency Program for AIDS relief. Then in the afternoon, I met with a former presidential candidate and former finance minister about his plans, just trying to learn. We don't fund opposition political parties, but our job is to talk to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I always have Vespers, which is a meeting with my staff, my deputy, and our 2 office management assistants before I go home. Mm-hmm. Then I went to the gym and I got in the sauna and relaxed.
How often do you meet with your team?
Well, we have once a week, we have country team meetings, and I meet with the office directors or agency heads once a week. I meet with my deputy and the 2 office management assistants every morning. And we have, our embassy is located in 5 different sites, which is why we're building a new embassy. But once a quarter, I go over to the different sites and meet with the staff. And I also meet with our consular staff. Those are the people who give visas so people can visit or study in the United States. I'm sure there are people on student visas right there in South Carolina now.
How do you keep up with all those dates and meetings?
Well, I've been doing it for many years, but I have a wonderful team that helps me with my schedule and travel and plans. And we try to plan things 2 to 3 months out of where we're going to go, whom we're going to meet, and what we're going to do. And we always allow space for unexpected meetings.
So how do you plan where to go out to?
Well, for example, Zimbabwe is not such a large country. There may be only 4 or 5 large cities. So about 4 weeks ago, we went to the second city, Bulawayo, where we met the young African leaders, students who go to the States in the summer for about 6 weeks to study at our universities and see what they had been up to. We also went to a game park where people live inside. A go-go, which is a grandma, takes care of 12 children who lost their parents to HIV/AIDS. And we gave the children toys, books, and clothing from friends in Atlanta, Georgia. That made us feel really, really good. And we also visited a shoe factory. We visited a second orphanage run by a nun that pays for tuition of orphans. But the Bata shoe factory is kind of unique. They've been here since 1937. So we visit a lot of places, including an elementary school, where the kids have to pay tuition. Even at government schools here, at public schools, you pay tuition. And what are they doing to help themselves with tuition? They have a farm. They're growing vegetables, and they get to keep about 50%. Tuition's only $45 a semester, but for many kids, it's very difficult for their families to afford.
Wow. Wow. Well, I really do like how they have the houses for the kids that lost their families. And that's a specific reason because they all know how each other feels. And that's kind of good because they can relate to each other and help each other out. So
Yes, it is. What these kids need more than anything is love and hugs. And Tuesday, we went to a different part of the country where we are giving a grant to a poultry farm that helps 784 orphans who lost their parents to HIV/AIDS. And they are selling chicken, all different parts of the chicken, and that helps pay their tuition. And the kids were so happy. I'm not a good dancer, but we tried to dance with them. And they liked local hip hop in Shona. So we danced to local hip hop.
wow. Since you work with kids a lot and I know you love seeing their happy faces,
Yeah.
have you always wanted to do something like this when you were a kid?
No, not at all. I did not know anything about traveling overseas other than I had some uncles in the Army. I didn't know the State Department existed, which is one of the reasons I'm pleased to talk to you, because there's so many opportunities for people to travel, learn languages. You know, I've seen everything from Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe, which is one of the 8 wonders of the world, a real wonder, much larger than Niagara Falls. I've been to 46 countries. I've had to serve in Iraq and Afghanistan, but I've gone to see the Pope, worked in the White House for a year, which was pretty neat. So I got to do a lot of things that I never dreamed of when I was your age.
Wow. How was it working in the White House?
Wow, it was neat. Love those White House M&Ms, and which was a fun thing. But I worked there the year of 9/11, and I handled India, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and of course, we were attacked in Afghanistan, and I was at the White House that tragic day. So that was my portfolio. I traveled with Secretary Powell to those places as we tried to rebuild. We're still trying. It's a tough, tough, tough thing for us. After I left the White House, on 3 occasions, I had to bring bodies of our fallen heroes home. Wasn't a pleasant chore, but it was. We have to do our duty because these young men had sacrificed so much for us. The State Department has lost some people far less than the military, but we've lost our colleagues also. But yeah, working in the White House, going to the White House mess was fun. And you know what you could do? You could go and ask the ROTUS. You know, the president is called POTUS, President of the United States. The ROTUS is the receptionist of the United States. Could you get tickets for the Kennedy Center? And you could go and sit in the president's box. I took my daughter to see Cinderella, and we sat in the president's box. That was pretty neat. Even Splenda and Coke have the presidential seal on. So that was fun. We also saw the Harlem Boys Choir and a few other things. So I think, and then the Christmas party at the White House is pretty neat. All kinds of designs by American carpenters and painters and a neat tree. That was a lot of fun.
Wow. So your bio says that you've been an ambassador, a U.S. ambassador 3 times. To which countries have you been an ambassador?
To the Philippines, Bangladesh, and now Zimbabwe. Philippines, which was America's only colony, in East Asia, Bangladesh, in South Asia, and now Zimbabwe and Southern Africa.
Wow. Which country has been your favorite?
Well, thus far, Bangladesh. People think of it as a very poor country, violence prone, which it is, but the poverty brings out the nicest things in people. They try to help you in every way. But you know why you would like Bangladesh?
How come?
Because so many clothes are made there. So no matter what pair of jeans you like, what blouses, they're made in Bangladesh. And they only cost about $1 there. So since you won't be going, you pay a lot more when they come to the States. And I remember going to a factory and seeing ladies making ties and caps, Tommy Hilfiger ties and caps. And 1 foot away were women making Walmart ties and caps. The fabric was different, but they were so close. I didn't think the price point should be so different. I learned a lot about economics and branding and styling there. They make a lot of clothes for the U.S. Olympic teams. They also make bone china and porcelain. And I remember my daughter and her friends going to a factory, and they came home with Nike jumpsuits. And I said, Casey, is that all you got? She said, yeah, Dad, they were trying to give us some old people's clothing. And I said, what's that? They said, boogaries. I said, you mean Burberries? They said, yeah. I said, let me show you how much expensive this is. And I've always teased her about turning down a $600 trench coat, but she thought it was for an old man.
Yeah, I would love to go there. I love shopping.
Oh yeah, you come back with a trunk full of clothing. And you'd also do what I do. Always look at the label to see where it was made and see, is this really worth the price?
So if kids would like to hold a position like this one day, what advice would you give to them? What skills should they have?
First of all, they should study very hard. They should study languages. And you know, the State Department has exchange programs for high school students.
Oh, wow.
So you can go overseas in the summer or for 9-month programs, 3 months in the summer. We pay the entire cost to learn Russian or Japanese or Korean. And that really gives you an edge up when you're applying to university. And you know, we work with the U.S. Army in an area you would be interested in. So say if you went in, say you became a veterinarian and you were in the Army, where we have a lot of veterinarians.
Oh, wow.
We bring veterinarians to many of the countries that I served in, like Bangladesh and the Philippines. And the veterinarians work on the cattle.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Well, think about that in developing countries, cattle is often your wealth.
Yeah.
But they don't have so many veterinarians. So when the U.S. Army comes in with their veterinarians in the summer, they can really help people save lives because they might sell a cattle for their child's tuition, or help pay for a wedding, or help with their land, and you will be doing them a great favor. We also use doctors and dentists to treat people, cataract operations, or there a lot of wisdom teeth. You know, your teeth have to be healthy for your heart. So what I would tell children is that I hope you would one day be interested in the State Department, but most of you will be like you, Jojo. You'll want to be a veterinarian or a doctor, an actor, something like that. But travel, see the world. 1 out of 4 American jobs is tied to exports and imports. And then you will look at, is this pair of Nikes, is this the right value? Is this pair of KD Nikes that cost $300? Is that the right thing? How can I help these people in a village that a grandmother's taken upon herself to give, to feed every day? So you'll see how fortunate we are to be in America, whether we're on the left or the right or the center. We laugh now at all the arguments in America over the flag and kneeling and that, when I look at people that don't know where their next meal is coming from.
Right. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to interview you.
Buenas noches. Namaste, Jean. That was good night in Spanish and hello, good night in Hindi.
Oh. So how could our viewers stay in touch with you?
Well, I hope they follow me on Twitter under Harry K. Thomas, Ambassador Harry K. Thomas, or they can join me. If they follow me on Twitter, I will follow them. They can follow me on Instagram under Harry K. Thomas Jr. 1, or they can friend me on Facebook under Harry K. Thomas. And I will friend anybody back who friends me.
Okay, thank you. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on Twitter. Bye, guys. Bye.
Be who you wanna be. It's your personality. Be who you wanna be. It's your personality.